This is the best show. It's called the Harvest Spectacular. Obviously, it's celebrating the grain harvest, and it's demonstrating how things were done back in the day.
A highlight of the show was a grain harvester powered by a team of 32 mules. 32 mules that had to be harnessed and hitched together according to their personalities to create the power to harvest the fields of grain.
This is a grain harvester. It was built in 1905 by the Holt brothers, not far from here in Stockton. It was sold to an outfit in Washington and then to Lewiston, Idaho, where it was found and brought back here and restored to original condition. How it works is it's ground driven, which means these large wheels, as the machine's pulled across the ground with 32 mules, it runs all the mechanism necessary. This here header is lowered to the ground. The sickle bar cuts the grain, and the grain is with the reel is laid onto these drapers or conveyor belts. It's pulled up into the machine, and that's where it is threshed or separated the grain from the stalk. The grain's then bagged into burlap sacks.
We're a bunch of crazy guys that like to put history together and show people what's going on. We hope some young people will get involved because we're all getting a little bit older. This is the first time that a 32 mule hitch has been put together since 1934 to pull a harvester.
It takes a lot of time, especially because nobody has 32 mules that are ready to pull. So we've got to spend the whole week training. We've got mules from all over California and Nevada, and getting them to work together and getting everything adjusted right's been quite a challenge. This is very rare equipment you're looking at here. It's very easy to hook up a wagon and go for a ride, but when you start working with farm equipment that's this old, that's not used anymore, and it's so rare. This is the third oldest machine that is known in existence. It's going to be a lost art if we don't.
From grain fields and fields beyond, the mule teams will always be remembered as an important part of an American tradition that once was. Let's not forget those old mules and the men and women who helped make American farming what it is today.
The early years of the 20th century were a wonder for the machines, and O.F. Florey was quick to realize that machines could save time and labor and increase profit. O.F. Florey came to Salida with his mother's family in 1909. They settled on a parcel of land on Toombs Road, where with the help of the community, they built a barn and a fine two-story farmhouse. Both buildings still stand and are still in use today. Today, 4 generations of Florey children and grandchildren can still be found on the property at Toombs Road, operating the thriving manufacturing business known as Florey Industries.
So that was really interesting to think back in those days that the young pioneers were engineers as well as pioneers. For me, I thought school was probably the most exciting thing a person could get involved in. And later on, when I got into high school, I got involved in agricultural mechanics.
O.F. Florey purchased a neighbor's harvesting business, a brand new Ford truck, and a lima bean thresher from C.B. Hay Company.
And we had a bean harvest that was made in San Jose, but it was not adequate. So I got to thinking about it, and after about 3 years, I got ready to make a machine.
And I've been told that Howard is so smart, and I believe it. They had a little shop with a concrete floor, and he sat down with a slide rule and drew the plans for those harvesters. And they were the best bean harvester ever made.
And the machine came together and worked so well that we went out one night to see if it really would work. And Dad came out the next morning and said, we're going to have a sand painter come out here and paint this, put Florey Special on the side of this machine. So they did.
The Florey Special was 37 feet long, weighed 14 tons, and took 6 men to operate. Its first harvest in 1944 was 25,000 sacks of beans. By 1952, Howard's son, Marlin, was working in the family business.
This meant, you know, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, hitting the road, working with under lights, getting all the equipment serviced by the time the crew got there. We was in the custom grain and bean harvesting. So we would travel. We'd go as far as Bakersfield with the bean harvesters.